Yeah, he does. Liar.
And we are live. So, hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans, it's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just three nerdy veterans geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. And as usual, we have our quarterly proof of life. Nick Garber is real, and he's alive.
Not a life model decoy.
I mean, you know, the Department of whatever you work for that we won't talk about has kept you so busy that maybe you are a life decoy. I don't know. That sounded funnier in my head. Save us from ourselves. So,
You said I worked for you.
Oh, I could have. I missed an opportunity. I failed you yet again. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So today is Veterans Day 2021. So we wanted to come on, or Armistice Day for you Brits, or Remembrance Day for everyone else. So we wanted to come on and have a little chat with everyone. So we're going to start with a little bit of testimonial about the Mission 22 and then talk whatever Doc wants to talk about. She's running the shindig. You're all in trouble now. But first,
I know you gave me admin rights to the stream.
I know. I might regret that. She's going to kick me off my own podcast. But first, we'll start with you, Nick. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself for people that might have missed the shows?
Okay, so
who you are and where'd you serve?
So, sort of thing? I'll give him the once around the world. Yeah, absolutely. My name's Nick Garber, or Nicholas R. Garber, if we're being formal. I'm a veteran of the United States Army, 2nd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, Rangers Lead the Way, previous door kicker and body stacker. Right now I draw comic books and I work for the Department of Homeland Security, but I really want to focus on the fact that I draw really kick-ass comic books. So that's who I am as a person. And this is my wife, Mr. Stabby.
Mistress Stabby. You just made her a man.
Mistress?
You know, somebody in this house has to have a dick, so.
Ouch.
So she is Miss Stabby, his boss, clearly, and the man in that relationship, but we don't judge. It's 2021 and all things are possible through science.
And my pronouns are Z, Zar, Z, Zim, and Dragon.
All right. What about you, Doc?
What am I? What? Sorry, I was distracted. I have all these cool little banners.
Question, Doc.
She's overwhelmed with the power wall. You understand? You're there. Who are you? Where did you serve? Introduce yourself.
Well, okay. So I am Cisca Small. I served in the Army out of Fort Bliss. I didn't really do anything too cool, but I was an Army medic, so I got that rolling for me. And I was also the brigade command team bitch. I got to do a lot of special projects. So when in doubt, they handed it to me, and it always got done. So I guess I kind of screwed myself over with that.
Yep, you did. All right, what about you?
Woman do it.
Oof, I'm not touching that one. Walt, how about yourself?
Yeah, but you didn't announce yourself first. I should go last.
Okay, fine. So Jared Handley, former infantry sergeant, Leg Lives Matter, and twice a combat veteran of the late wars in Mesopotamia. And I didn't do anything cool. No whiz-bang schools. I just walked a lot.
And that's enough. That's enough, pig. That'll do.
She's found the banners button. We're in trouble, Nick.
Oh, I don't even have access. You should consider yourself ordained.
All right, now Walt gets to tell us about himself. Next long walks on Panama beaches and.
Hi, I'm Walt, and when I was in the Army, I used to bake muffins.
I believe it. Steven Skull was a cook, so it's possible.
Walt was part of the Goon Squad and the Spicy Boys.
Yeah, me and Andre the Giant.
I believe that too. So he's modest. He too was a leg. He did nothing cool, but he walked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say it for me one time for the people in the back? Leg Lives Matter.
No,
you see, I'm contractually obligated. I'm contractually obligated to fight against those statements, and that knocking you hear on the windows outside are the people I've sent to talk to you about such statements.
Why is there a panel van out front? What does that mean?
Very upset.
All right. So First, before we start the shenanigans, as usual, when Nick is involved, we'll talk a little bit about Mission 22. So, Walt, since you have done this podcast before over on the Galaxy's Edge podcast, can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
So Mission 22 is an organization, a charitable organization that is trying to raise funds and awareness for veteran suicide. A lot of lifestyle changes occur when you come back from a combat zone. And a lot of times the military in its ultimate wisdom don't always have the foresight to kind of, kind of ease people back into it. We saw this with World War II and shell shock, battle fatigue. We saw it in Vietnam with, combat stress, and now with post-traumatic stress disorder, combat stress disorder. I mean, there's multiple names for it, but it really starts when we give it the room to grow. And you might have that veteran that's trying to reacclimate to society, and you're trying to give them a little space, but at the same time, giving that person space might not be the best option for what they need at the time, even if they tell you otherwise. So Mission 22 tries to raise awareness, and the 22 in the Mission 22 name refers to, on average, several years ago, it was 22 veterans a day who were taking their own lives, because they could not cope with what they were coming home to. For some, it was the stress of not having such stress weighing down on them. For others, it was the lack of discipline and control that the military exerts. There were as many reasons as there were ways that people found to find a permanent solution to what could have been a temporary problem. But so Mission 22 tries to bring veterans together and kind of find different ways to deal with this stress. And in doing so, Galaxy's Edge, for the last few years, Jason Onspach and Nick Cole, the authors of Galaxy's Edge, have been very generous with their time, with their products, and with their creativity to try and raise money for Mission 22, so that this particular really good charity can find those veterans who are most vulnerable and susceptible to the negativity that's trying to creep into their soul, and then stomp it out so they can go forth and show the world why a warrior culture merges well with a philosophical one to kind of balance out a country and make it a better place, versus just letting them stew in their own juices.
Yeah. And the number, because I just looked it up, was it's only crept down to 20. So on average, and these are all rough estimates, guys, in the audience who don't necessarily understand biostatistics, which is confusing. So don't try to understand it. But that's a lot. And there's a lot of stuff with it that, in particular, we had COVID. Let's not look at it in the room. And that was really hard for a lot of the veterans I know.
Yeah.
So
particularly for me in the beginning of COVID, because I didn't have this one sitting right next to me for most of it.
So
half of it. Yeah.
I drank a lot. I had fits of depression and things like that, because when you're left alone with your thoughts, I mean, for some reason, the human brain just likes to go negative real quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's also call a spade a spade. As soldiers, we're all taught to have certain habits, and suck it up, but also just like we're taught to have certain habits, like get up, go to PT, do work. And so the disruption to that habits that was everything COVID didn't help anybody coping with those kind of issues either.
Yeah. No, I probably did 3 months. Well, I mean, it was before you, but like in about 3 months from when COVID started and I was in isolation and I couldn't go out. I couldn't do any things that I enjoy about one of the most beautiful cities in America, San Diego. I was stuck at home because everything was closed. But about the 3rd month in, I was like, I need to do something. And a friend of mine was like, hey, man, I'm a personal fitness coach. And I'm like, oh, shit, I haven't done PT in like a year and a half. So let's do this.
Yeah, we saw some of those pictures. Those legs were giving off epic levels of light. It was amazing.
Yeah, I am an Irish vampire, as our listeners know. I do not tan. I burst into red, and it doesn't darken after that. I'm either red or white. There's
See, my mom always told me it was because of my Hispanic heritage that I did that.
So I suffer from that as well. When I went to boot camp, when you do the little card where they fill out your bios for the drill sergeants so they can pretend they care about you, and I was starting to write the Caucasian male, my drill sergeant, big, tall, black eye, dark as the night, and he's like, no, you're the founding father of the bleach people. Put that. I'm like, okay.
Mine told me that I had to go put on the marshmallow PTs because I was blinding them.
No, I used to tan until I spent 4 years in the Pacific Northwest where there's zero sun.
No. You just tan, not that you.
But one of the reasons that we decided to do this, aside from it being a good charity, is like many veterans, most of us have been touched by that friends that ended it themselves. I know of the ones of the 9 people that were on my fire team, and I know that's not a normal, but because we were doing convoys, of the 9 people that were on my fire team, 4 of us came home, and of those 4, I'm the last one because they chose the quick solution instead of the longer process. I got really, really lucky. I happened to have a college professor that worked with the Hampton VA that did a writing is therapy class and gave me something to occupy the mind, but not everyone's VA is the same, and not everyone has the support I had. And so for me, it's just hard because they left kids behind, and so it's, if we can stop anybody else from suffering like that, that's a good thing.
And the problems aren't just with the lower rank or the higher rank. A couple of years ago, I found out an NCO I knew decided a permanent solution was the solution, unfortunately. And so it's really just because, and I think one of the things I've also heard people go, well, you didn't have to deal with. No, it's not a you didn't have to deal with. We don't know where people's limits are. It's we all had to deal with something. So,
yeah.
But, oh, great. JR put up the website, and the website has, what does the website have on it, Walt?
It lets you, the Mission 22 website.
It's a different website. Yeah.
That's actually the actual organization. I know some people feel some kind of way about donating to charities they can't vet because a lot of us have been screwed by various charitable organizations that ended up being less so. So if you want to do your research, but one of the reasons we had Walt here and I have the GE banner along with Mission 22 was because this year, like every year, if you go to the Galaxy's Edge website, you can actually, there are certain purchases you can buy where you get actual neat merch from, the sci-fi properties you know and love. Here, let me share this.
There we go.
Where you actually, the profits are going completely to 100% of the profits, and some of them are less than, but significant portions of the profits for the month of November go towards Mission 22. I know last year we raised as a community $11,000, and the goal is this year to see if we could double that. And so you get some T-shirts where the money goes to charity, some wristbands, some art that's signed posters, maps from Forgotten Ruin. There's a link on their website, or if it's not there, they're working on it, where you can donate directly through Galaxy's Edge. Everyone that donates through the Galaxy's Edge, there is a R.C. Bray version of The Martian on CD, unwrapped still, that I had. And so if that's something you want, there will be some prizes given out throughout the month as well. And it lets them sort of see that people care, and the money goes for a good cause. So is there anything else they're doing, Walt, besides the discounts that you're showing?
Well, a lot of these will go directly to the charity. So there's that. And then in the Discord, we have our own, Galaxy's Edge has worked with Blood Eagle Knives to have our own line of custom steel. Galaxy's Edge version, and he is currently making a wicked blade that one of the members of the Dark Ops community, Omachi, he's going to be raffling that off, and then all that money is going to go directly to Mission 22. So he bought the knife. Adam's going to make it, and then once it's ready to go, we're going to put it up on the website, and we're going to auction it off, and hopefully we'll get it nice and high, and then the winner will get that awesome blade, and then Mission 22 will get some of that money. So yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in regards to this. So it's really cool that that this community is so connected. I mean, even in the Discord, the Galaxy's Edge Discord, they have an entire section for helping people out if you're having a hard time, so if you need to go to the squad support bay inside of the Discord, there's always people hanging around. So if you're looking down the road and you can't see where the road is leading you, and you think that that's it, we have guys that hopefully can turn you back to your starting point and help you find the way forward, because we're pretty passionate about this. We don't want any more guys who shed mud and blood somewhere else in regards to the flag. We don't want them to go down. So the fact that the guys in the Discord do that is just absolutely awesome.
So we've got a comment from Sam Point, who's one of our Australian veterans and listeners. He said he's part of the Disaster Relief Australia, which is part of Team Rubicon Australia. They instigated at the start of the COVID lockdowns a ring around rosters of veterans and veteran members every couple of days to chat, chew the fat, which is an expression I hadn't heard before, and do exercises via Microsoft Teams. Still trying to keep each other active and encourage each other, because it's mostly the sense of community that's gone when you get out that hurts the most for people. Because like when you live in the barracks, if you wake up at 3 a.m. because you can't sleep, it's not uncommon.
There is somebody awake, even if it's just that annoying NCO on 24-hour duty.
Or you just kick your buddy's rack and wake his ass up, and then you know.
See, I didn't live in that barracks.
No, I was a senior specialist. I had my own room.
I had my own room.
A senior specialist.
Yeah, all that took was like 3 days over the other guy who had the
That's what we call somebody who's been demoted to specialist.
So how many times were you demoted to specialist there, Ranger Nick?
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to go into specifics, but I'm going to quote a famous NCO of mine, and he said, "You're not a true NCO until you've every rank twice."
Okay. Well, I guess I get bonus points because I was careful 3 times.
Well, except for Walt. Walt doesn't drink, so I'm drinking for him. So
thank you.
Are you his stunt liver?
I'm sorry?
Are you his stunt liver?
He is my stunt liver, yes.
God, Walt, how long have we known each other? Years now. 5.
God, it's got to be like 7-8 years now, bro.
7-8 years, yeah. One day I'll make the trip to Rhode Island, and we'll have a party jam.
Yeah, dude, best food in the country over here, so bring it.
You have snow up there. No, thank you.
I like snow. She doesn't like snow, but I like snow. I'll bring heavy coats.
Yeah,
I kid you not. Okay, I am from the South, and I spent my first 8 years in the Middle East. Snow shut everything down.
Yeah.
Just rumors of snow will shut it down.
I went, my boot started on November 30th in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Oh, no. So we're still in red phase. And my NCO comes in, my drill sergeant comes in, and he goes, "Small." I'm looking out the window, and I guess I looked absolutely terrified to a new level. I mean, it's red phase. You're supposed to be terrified, but I guess I looked particularly terrified because he came up to me and he goes, "Small, what's wrong?" And I looked at him, and all the first words out of my mouth were, "Drill sergeant, you have to go home. They're going to close posts. There's snowing." Because I had this image of them all being stuck with us overnight.
Yeah, that would suck.
And he goes, "We can drive in snow." And I went, and
what is this magical thing you're speaking of?
What dark magic is this?
So, and Sam went on to
not enough snow to make a footprint in Missouri.
Sam went on to say that as veterans across the globe, they sometimes allow their mates from the USA and Europe to join their chats when times were requiring it. So there's communities out there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to your flag. Veterans.
Nathan Ped is trying to torture me. It's not going to snow tomorrow. It's 75 degrees in Georgia tomorrow, Nathan. This is what he
Canadian,
sent me.
eh?
This is what he posted. It's not
But
going to snow.
Not
in Georgia,
anyway,
US.
So that is mission 22. It's a good thing. If you want to be more involved when this goes up officially on the podcast platform and on YouTube, we'll have this link available. We'll have everybody here's link, the Discord link specifically because it's got that squad support bay available. But all right, Doc, I understand now that we've spent a little bit of time talking about the important business, you had stuff you wanted to talk about and a thing planned.
Well, I mean, it's Veterans Day, and I got to thinking about it. Actually, a colonel I used to work for, Colonel Swift, if he's listening, I don't understand why he'd be listening, but
don't worry, I'll find him and send him the link.
Okay, you can do that. But today he posted something great, and it reminded me, and he goes, Veterans Day is for family, whether that is your blood family or your service family, you know, the brothers and sisters who we all served with. To Veterans Day is about family. So
not wrong.
What do vets do better than anything other than make a mess?
Drink.
So
and then drink some more.
And we said it all in unison too. That's
but typically every veteran story starts with one phrase: "No shit, there I was."
No shit, there I was.
So that's what this is. It's the no shit, there I was. Fandom is great. I love fandom. We all know this because of all the cons I do. And but now it's time for family, and we're gonna have a family roundtable of no shit, there I was.
Oh no. I think it should be funny stories. We should theme it.
Well, that's fine. It is themed. It's Veterans Day.
Categories theme is family, but
Nathan Ped wants to know if any of your stories involve maple syrup or poutine.
Yeah.
Is that a derogatory word for lady parts or something?
No, it is not. Oh my god, if you don't know what poutine is, you're missing out, my friend. It's amazing. It's like gravy,
brown gravy and
cheese curds and French fries.
That sounds like heresy. Why would you ruin good French fries?
Okay, so do you want a poutine story?
Sure.
He does.
Give us a poutine story for the Canadian veterans.
It's a drunk ranger story.
Are there any other kinds of ranger stories?
Yeah, there's sober and angry and ran out of dip and coffee 3 days ago stories, but that's not.
I don't know. My mom, when I was in the service, bribed every ranger she found to not date me.
Oh, wait a minute. Were you a rangerette?
No, I was not.
Okay.
No. My
that would have
mom.
been funny.
My mom, when after I was in.
Oh, shit, we're self-serving.
My mom was doing my mom was running a Warhammer tournament for Toys for Tots. And this group of Rangers who had just come back from deployment showed up. And they let them play. And my mom gave them a table full of terrain. And my mom makes amazing terrain created with dental plaster and everything. And at the end of it, they go, well, is there anything? She insisted they take a table full of terrain home. This is like $500 worth of terrain. And she goes, is there anything we can do? And she goes, no, nothing. She goes, wait, no. If you meet my daughter, Specialist Small, don't date her.
That's epic.
That's my mother for you.
No, we've been telling Junior that for months.
What? Don't date?
Don't date Cisca.
Why would that would be illegal?
How would it be illegal? You guys aren't genetically related.
Oh, you're talking this one. I thought you were talking about your stepson.
No, he's
when
not.
He said Junior, he meant JR.
No, JR's not dating me. That would be gross.
Ouch.
All right, so
do it, JR. Do you
so,
need some aloe vera for that nuke that just landed?
Nuke it for Morbid. It was the only way to be sure. So
Yeah.
Since we had
let's do that.
Since we had some Canadian love in the chat, I understand you have a funny Canada story when you invaded their land.
You do?
For winter training. No, Walt did. He's telling us about his winter training. It's a funny story.
I'm sure. No,
Walt, did you invade
Daddy Walt, not Grandpa Walt. He's not a grandpa.
Yeah,
I know about Daddy. Well, he probably did an airfield seizure or two in the same place as I did.
So we did winter warfare school in Petawawa, Canada, and we got off the plane and it was 19 below 0 Fahrenheit, and we were like, yeah, this is gonna suck balls.
The shit that makes your bones hurt.
So, you're getting your pre-jump briefing from the Canadian jump masters because we were going to jump with them to get their wings, and they were telling us all the funny stuff, like just make sure you do a PLF at the end of it when you jump out of the Herc, which is what they called the C-130 Hercules. They were like, the Americans like to slap the outside of the aircraft and then jump forward. Don't do that. Just fall out the door. And we're like, and then they were like, yeah, we don't use a safety either next to the door, so you just got to fling the static line and hope it gets away from you. And I'm like, this is really gonna suck. I think I had like 10 jumps at the time.
Oh, baby airborne.
Yeah, I was baby airborne. So
I broke my leg on jump number 9.
So I'm just like, okay, this is gonna suck. But because they were like, look, if you put your hands on the outside of the aircraft, it's -40 below up there. Your fingers are going to stay with the aircraft and you're going to leave. So we were like, oh my God, why are we doing this? So then, I'm a small dude with a big personality. So it's like, I'm 5'5", 5'6" if I have really big boots.
Yeah, but you're a large caliber man, Walt.
Yes, I am a large caliber man. So when we get out of the plane, I'm like, all right, this ain't so bad. I got this covered. We're cool. We're cool. And I hit, and my boss is like right in front of me, and he hits and does a textbook perfect PLF and a lot of easy snow. And I'm like, oh, all right, this ain't gonna suck. I hit the ground, and I'm up to my chest in snow. He turns around at me. He goes, motherfucker, you better fake a PLF. I'm trying to like throw myself over. I'm like, I was like a weeble. I couldn't fall down, and
it's like, there's too much snow. I can't do it.
So then they all, my squad comes around me, and they're all like, what's going to be funnier than that landing? You crawling out of there. Let's see this. I'm like, I had to dig myself out with my snowshoes. Oh God, it sucked.
Oh my God.
Is that the story you were hoping for, or are you talking about the alcohol story?
No, that was the one I was hoping for. We actually
that's a good one. We'll leave it at that. That's perfect.
But I mean, if there's an alcohol story.
So
I haven't heard the other one.
Here we
go. We get off the plane, and the senior master corporal, which is kind of like our E7s, he comes out, he loads us onto the bus, and we're just small talking with him and stuff like that. He was pretty cool. Canadian paras were definitely pretty cool. And we get inside this little Quonset hut little thing. Like I said, it's 20 below 0. He's like, all right, we're going to take it easy tonight. He goes, but we need to have a briefing. So we get all the guys together, and he's like, all right, men, here's the deal. He goes, you have to pay very strict attention about what I'm going to say, because it is crucial to your survival of the Winter Warfare School here at Petawawa, Canada, and also in working with joint operations with the Canadian military. He says, on Tuesday, we do not drink. He goes, now, on Wednesday, right? he's like, on Wednesday, it's almost Friday, so we drink. On Thursday, it's almost Friday, we drink. On Friday, it's Friday, so we drink. On Saturday, it's the weekend, we drink. On Sunday, we're depressed that the weekend's almost over, we drink. On Monday, we're depressed that we have to start the work week, so we drink. And on Tuesday, we rest. Any questions? So I raised my hand, and I'm like, excuse me, Senior Master Corporal, I don't drink. He goes, give that motherfucker the keys. So yeah, they were funny. That was the Canadian safety briefing.
I like it.
I mean, I got yelled at by my first sergeant for saying, when in doubt, you have to ask, don't do it.
Yep.
This felt more appropriate. A bunch of soldiers sitting around Ranger TV as the fire department.
All right. We actually, So I actually technically invaded Canada. I was doing a live fire exercise out of Fort Nathaniel Green in Vermont. And I don't know if you guys remember the old overhead projectors. You got to do it inverted and backwards. So when it goes on the screen, it's correct side up.
Yes.
He didn't do that. So he made Xeroxes of the form wrong. So it was up was down and left was right and all that. And so our live fire exercise for our striker conversion course was because they were converting a bunch of people that were coming back to the infantry or people that were converting from other MLSs. And we ended up technically crossing the border and getting stopped by the Canadian Mounties. I was very disappointed they were not wearing red coats, by the way. Shame on them. Shame on them.
Oh, true story. The Mounties up there are complete dickheads. Like
I don't know.
The most brutal cops. Like as an American, I was like, I have rights. And they're like, no, you don't, Abe, but sorry.
I don't know about that because I've only ever met one, and it was Jamie Ibsen, and he was really nice, but he never wore a red coat either. So maybe he wasn't really a Mountie. I don't know, Jamie. You got to answer.
The red coats are coming.
Yeah, I actually was very disappointed that they weren't wearing the red coat. I felt like that's an essential requirement, and the hat and riding the moose, the whole 9 yards.
I would love for my 9-year-old to see it because I've been telling him, I tell him bad things to do. Like if he sees a red coat, he needs to run screaming away. The red coats are coming.
That would be hilarious though.
I also tell him if you see somebody who identifies as a seal, he needs to start making seal noises. So, I mean.
He says also about right.
We have the seals training next door.
Yeah, the seal pups. They were playing their music too loud today, and these guys they don't have their Budweiser badge yet. They're not even halfway through. So they're playing their music too loud. I'm like, hey, you guys aren't even seals yet. Shut your down.
Recreation night at the School of Infantry.
It was the most Navy thing I'd ever heard.
Good to know. So before we hide Walt forever, the Sam Point says recreation night at the School of Infantry in Singleton Barracks, Australia, consists of running old training videos upside down and backwards. But hell, we're a Commonwealth like the Canucks, so what do they know? Sam Point is an awesome fella.
I think we won.
He likes to send me videos of Australia trying to kill you. Like that's fun for him.
I want to meet.
Look at the snake; it's going to eat you.
Everything in Australia wants to kill you. Some of it's just.
I want a huntsman spider. I want to get it a leash and a collar, and I want to name it Daisy, and I want it around the house.
I will burn down the house.
So I gotta say, so the Australians lost the
spider while she's at it.
She'll stab me with the spider. Probably.
So this is an important question for the Rangers among us. So the Australians lost the war with the emu. Could the Rangers beat them?
Yes. I love how Walt's giving you a look like, why is this a question?
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing you need to know about a Ranger mentality. We could be faced up with insurmountable odds, knowing death is imminent, and that's how we all want to go as a little baby Ranger.
Hey, Nick,
grown Rangers.
Nick, read the screen, Nick.
What? So where do I ship the Huntsman spider eggs? I'll send you a DM.
I will burn down this house.
Because I like my house.
And it's connected to the neighbor's house. So everybody's just screwed.
So we all die. I don't care.
But he'll have his Huntsman spiders. Walt, do you want some of that action? No, okay.
Now, sitting behind me and then a few feet away from me are a 55 and 70 pound fuzzy chainsaw.
I love the fuzzy chainsaws in Murder Dog.
Mm-hmm. So I do not need a Huntsman spider.
If you didn't know, though, his Murder Dog is actually famous internationally.
So are you saying, Walt, that you are not compensating for anything like Nick?
What do you mean?
Because you don't need a Huntsman spider.
No, because the last spider that got in the house.
I said I wanted one. There's a difference.
The last spider that got in the house, the cat was running away, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then I round the corner, and the dog is on top of the refrigerator. And I'm like, what are you doing? And, he's just looking at me like, what? This is totally natural. So, Belgian Malinois horror stories.
I love your dog.
He's
His
fun.
dog is internationally famous. He's in a
Well,
book
if you want
too.
a dog that keeps you in shape, the Malinois is definitely that dude. They are a firm
I don't want a dog that
missile.
keeps me in shape. I want a dog that's going to parent my son.
I want to see Malinois versus Viking.
Oh, Malinois versus what?
Viking, Cisca's kid.
So, if you need to, I mean, just send the kid over here. I'll let him help train the dog.
You got to take video, Walt.
It's what do you call it? I'll even feed him breakfast. Put him out in the front yard. We'll put the bite sleeve on him, and then we'll let nature take its course.
There you go.
There could be only one.
Nature is beautiful. Nature is beautiful. Only the strong will survive.
Yes.
Someone's get humped. I'm just saying, but probably ain't gonna be Malinois.
It's really funny.
Okay. So, Nick, tell a no shit there I was story.
Dance monkey.
You want to hear about the time I snuck in Poland?
Sure.
Okay, no shit, there I was. So I'm with the California National Guard this time. I decided active duty was just too stringent on my lifestyle, which was mostly because of my ex-wife. Thank God she's an ex, because I would have still been active duty and finished my 20. However, I did find some certain avenues of success in the California National Guard, one of which brought me to a 2-week mission in Ukraine, and they needed a platoon leader. And since I was already an XO, they're like, hey, you want to do this 2 weeks in Ukraine? I'm like, I haven't been to the Eastern Bloc. Fuck it, let's do this. So I end up in Lviv, Ukraine. It's a beautiful place. I've never been. Rich with history, great architecture, amazing strip clubs. And the beer flowed like wine, and the vodka flowed even heavier. And everything was cheap, which is great for a soldier. So I get in good with the Polish Grom, which is their special forces. Because I was teaching in a class. I had a couple of Grom dudes there. And they're like, hey, so you were enlisted but became officer? Who's your dad? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Because apparently in Poland, the only way you can go from grunt to officer is if your dad's connected politically. I'm like, my dad was a SEAL. I don't know if that helps, but he was a construction worker. What? They were like, well, how did you do this? And I'm like, I applied. There was an opening. I showed up. They're like, okay, cool. So he's like, hey, after training, I really enjoyed your class. So after training, why don't we want to go out for some drinks? And I'm like, oh, you want to go to the G Bar on post, which was sanctioned? They're like, no, we have a special place, which should have been my first red flag. But as an airborne ranger, we don't recognize red flags. We dive headfirst into them saying Leroy Jenkins. So they're like, I'm like, all right, cool. Name the event, name the distance, name the place. And he's like, all right, outside the post, 1800, we come pick you up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, can I bring some friends? And they're like, yeah, you can bring fire team. I'm like, all right. So I got to figure out who's the other 4 assholes that I'm going to take on this wild adventure into wherever they're going to take us. I had no idea what was Poland. So I grabbed 4 heavy hitter, barrel chested freedom fighters. And we're waiting outside a post in our ACUs, which is the worst camouflage pattern ever made. And
I think my grandma had that on her couch.
Yeah, like as long as the enemy had terrain that was comprised of your grandmother's couch, you'd be fine. Or if it was pitch black. Yeah, not even snow could help that fucking camouflage pattern. But I digress. So we're waiting out there. The lieutenant shows up. He's like, all right, get in bed. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we get in the back of their version of a Humvee, some Warsaw Pack 1944 fucking era bullshit. But the suspension was amazing. Didn't feel a bump. He's like, hey, we're going to go back to my country. And I'm like, okay, so I'm an American. I'm not really good with geography. I don't know how far Ukraine is from Poland. So we're on this 3-hour trek to cross into Poland to go drink at their base. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, fuck it. We'll do it live, I guess. I mean, go hard or go home, as Walt said. And being the Ranger that I am, I'm like, you know what? I was always brought up in the Army, do what your career can handle, and I didn't care about my career. And I was like, fuck it, let's go drink in Poland. So we get up to the checkpoint because there was a checkpoint with armed guards with live ammunition that even suspected their own troops, which, you know, brought their level up a notch. I was like, you guys must party really fucking hard. And they're like, hey, get under this wool blanket. And it was a U.S. GI wool blanket. Straight up said that the U.S. right in the middle of it, like you get in basic. So I'm like, all right, so if anybody bring body armor? Negative, sir. And I'm like, all right, cool, we'll all die together. Put the wool blanket over us. For some reason by the grace of God, we sneak in. But who's gonna question these guys? It'd be like a bunch of SF dudes showing up to like Fort Bliss, you know, with the grizzly beard, the ball cap, and then they got they show their ID cards like E6, and they're like, all right, cool, guys, welcome to Fort Bliss, you know. So I went over there. We went to their little personal Grom bar that they had, and these guys would bring in hookers. Like they brought in entertainment. I don't know if they were hookers. I don't want to like speculate, but like a bunch of girls come in. Like, hey,
Stabby's looking at him.
Pick whatever girl you want. Like at the time, I'm like, no, I'm married. I'm just here to drink and party with you guys. They're like,
filing your nails. He's
like, there's another side of the world. It's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not, because I don't want to get shot. So we drink until about 4 a.m. We go back across Poland because they don't check you on the outbound. And so we get back to post, and they're like, all right, cool, meet you in an hour for PT. And I'm like, fuck, God, I hate this country. So I go in, I check in with my commander. I'm like, hey, sir, I'm back. I'm done with the goodwill mission to Poland. They're like, all right, cool, we got I'm like, sir, the Grom invited me to do PT with them. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool, man. We'll keep the camaraderie going. So I go out there with my 4 little hooas that I brought with me. And they're like, all right, cool, man, 5-mile run today. And I'm like, why? Why? We've been drinking for like 6 hours, bro. And he's like, no, you puke, slug some water. We got Fallout truck. Well, technically it's vodka truck. You know, are you fucking kidding me? And no shit, it was a vodka truck. They had bottles of vodka. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, here, have these. You know, you have a shot of vodka and you keep fucking running. So for this 5-mile run, I puked like 20 times. Like there was nothing left. I lost 15 pounds of not only water weight, but whatever was in my stomach over the last 48 hours, gone. All over the streets of Ukraine. You know, and these guys are having they're fucking singing songs about it. I mean, it was in Polish. I had to assume that it was about drinking and throwing up and hookers. Had no clue, but you know, I made the run. I didn't go into the Fallout truck because I was like, "Fuck this! We're the Americans, U.S. Army. Rangers lead the way." And it was just my pure ignorance. She has murder face. She always has murder face. That ain't. Wait, you're not gonna. Can you murder me tomorrow? I don't want to be that first dude to die on Veterans Day.
Okay, so in all fairness, guys,
I didn't touch the hooker.
You're a liar. It's really fun to sit here and give him shit, but if you guys know me, you know I like the girls too, so he's good.
Okay, sharing is caring, I guess.
All right, so end of the story is we get back to Poe. It was the worst run ever, and this even counts the Panama drunk fun run that I did with the Ranger Regiment, where we had a 6-hour kegger, then went for a 5-mile run in the humidity. But Jesus, I had never been smuggled into another country, especially one that I had never been to before, and one that is kind of scary because it's Eastern Bloc and they have a reputation for shooting a dude.
Fair.
But yeah, that's my smuggling country story, and good luck everybody else.
Yes, no run is fun. I agree. They called them that just to lie to you.
I loved what did they used to call those?
Motivational runs, fun runs.
No, where they would cancel it. Zoinks.
Yes.
The Zoink. And the only thing you had to worry about was the sergeant major, and he was like a 32-year-old man that looked like he was 53, and his knees hurt.
The old ones you got to watch out for.
So, JR, do you have a no shit there I was?
So I guess I don't know that I can top invading Poland with the Grom, but
I'm probably going to get killed tonight, just to let everybody know. The Grom's probably watching like, how dare he share our secrets? We have to kill him now. I like Nick. He was a good dude.
So the funniest one that I still laugh about when I think about is we did, before I deployed the second time, there's Fort Dix had a fake fob, and we were training for desert warfare in New Jersey in December where there was snow, as you do. So we're all wearing our summer weight equipment, crawling around, low crawling in fake firefights, obviously with blank fire adapters.
How quick were you, heat cat?
Yeah. So we're there, and when we get to the fob, they have like op for like trying to fake attack us. So whoever's on guard has to actually pay attention. When mostly they just want to make sure their dick doesn't fall off because it becomes an icicle. And you were supposed to wear your flak jacket, boots, and utes to go to the like every time you leave your tent, you better have your rifle.
They slit throats, bro. They don't do cement shoes. They slit throats.
Yeah. So I remember I was on guard duty, and because of that, somebody had woken up in the middle of the night. They didn't want to get dressed, so they're literally just wearing their combat boots, pink heart boxers, and their webbing and their helmet as they're shuffling out to the porta potty. I think I died like laughing at least twice. It's the funniest shit I'd ever seen. Honestly, it was the cold. Everything's smaller in the cold. But yeah, that was one of the funniest things I ever saw on guard duty that I can talk about on family TV. Hey, so the unit I was with was stationed at a Camp Arif John, Kuwait, and then we escorted convoys all over. So I think I saw my tent there like 5 times, and one of the times we were there, the roads went black, so they were considered unsafe to drive. So we were stuck on the base for like 2 days, and they literally put us on what we called roving sex patrol, because General Rule 1 Alpha was no fraternization, even if it was your wife. And so we literally were catching people doing nasty things in nasty places, and we'll leave it at that. You saw, I can't even read that. Yugoslavs were as bad as the Polish with their Slovatsky back in '85. Okay.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, but I'm hoping Walt can enlighten us.
Then how do you hide a body? Nathan asked, how do you hide a body? According to my wife, pig farms.
Yes, I saw that on TV once. They don't lie on TV.
Pig farms.
And the other one was, we had this little guy from Boston with like a huge Napoleon complex, and
I'm not allowed to answer that question.
We were doing a resupply run to BIAP, which is Baghdad International Airport, and they had this really sweet canteen, whatever, little class 6 where we could, whatever, I can't remember, the PX basically, where they had stuff we couldn't get at some of the other bases. So we were picking up for friends, doing supply runs off the books. And as we're walking out, because there was the whole fire team, and this little guy from Boston, Whitey, runs into this big guy and decides he's going to start a fight with him because you bumped into me. Like, clearly it went the other direction. And so we kept trying to talk him back, and it ends up being the guy that he's in is wearing this like the Ranger panties, whatever the Navy SEAL version is, like the tan khaki crap they wear, dive shorts, I think they call them. And we kept trying to get him to stop, but once he started the fight, it's like, well, fuck, we got to go, right? Because if you're the only guy in your unit that when everyone's getting in a fight that doesn't have bruises, unless you're Jackie frickin' Chan, like, you got problems because you didn't join in. So we had the one injured guy stack rifles and hold them, and then we got into a fight. Like, so there's 8 of us and 4 of them Navy SEALs. So the odds were in their favor, and it was embarrassingly embarrassing. The cool thing,
embarrassingly embarrassing.
Yeah, it was bad. I'm just trying to keep it family friendly-ish.
He's a writer, ladies and gentlemen. He's a writer.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of us. We'll leave it at that. But I did break one nose, so that counts, even though I got my ass kicked. And they took us on their fob and they let us play with some of their cool toys. So
okay,
they were impressed that we gave them.
Were those the same cool toys they would have offered me, or actually like?
They upgraded some equipment. they upgraded some of our equipment. The Humvees we had got better engines that I didn't have access to, and of course, as supply does, as soon as I got to the rear to swap out for the next mission, they confiscated all the cool shit and gave us more rundown stuff. So that didn't work. But yeah, so they
with a bunch of hoopty sixes.
yeah. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. And then the reason they invited us is because we got stopped by some officer that wanted to ruin our fun, and he asked what we were doing, expecting us to like rat on the SEALs, and I was like, exercising. They're teaching us combatives.
You don't do that. You don't rat on the SEALs. Nathan said pig farms, look up the Picton serial killer. Honey, you had something to say about that?
We have actually looked into that case before. But as for pig farms, in Las Vegas, there was a famous pig farm. It was out of the way. It actually recently got moved because the county decided to put their nose where it didn't belong. But it was a mandatory field trip when we were in elementary school. So imagine being 5-6 years old, going on this field trip to a pig farm and having them tell you that the pigs will eat anything, including the bones.
Nathan, add me on Facebook, Nick Garber. You'll see my ugly mug.
So yeah, the 5 years old, and they're telling you, yeah, the pigs will eat the bones too, of anything, and we just kind of sat there like,
Well, it's Vegas, Walt. I mean,
we're a bunch of Italian kids, so we're just like, So how did I walk down the aisle to marry this one?
With a stuffed pig in her arm.
With a pig in my hands instead of a bouquet. My whole family thought it was a cop joke. And then, I explained, till death do us part. But yes, famous.
And this is why I'm not getting remarried.
That's really dark, Miss Stabby.
I didn't know about that red
we're all
flag.
friends.
I did it.
Yeah, you wrote in. Red flags be damned.
YOLO or Carpe Diem
So
for you guys that have read a book.
I really think that Rangers think red flags are just target signs.
So Walt, did you invade Poland?
No. They are.
Nope. The countries I invaded. Nope.
Well, I mean, that was the fun story. I can't tell you about the bad stories of the countries I invaded like Walt can. That shit's horrific. You all have nightmares.
Yeah.
No. This is supposed to be a fun podcast where we talk about fun stuff. Like I almost got kidnapped in Vegas, or the time that I freaked out the lieutenant.
If I was to name that story, it'd be Harry Potter and the Drunken Incursion in Poland. That would be the story. Or Nick Garber and the audacity of this motherfucker.
Audacity.
That works.
What did I say?
Audacity.
Audacity. Audacity. Okay, I pre-gamed a little too much for this fireside chat.
Well, it's okay. We're gonna actually know how to fire tonight. So
yeah.
How did you get into dog handling in the Army?
I celebrated the Marine Corps birthday yesterday, and I took a little too far.
Why did you celebrate the Marine Corps birthday?
I got
because
you eat so many crowns.
Every crayon eater eventually ends up in the Cal Guard. And that was like the majority of my soldiers. They were former crayon eaters that I had to retrain to speak Hua. And they teach you that in RASP or RIP when I went through. They teach you how to communicate with Marines. So you show up with the 24 box of assorted crayons, and you say "rah" a lot, and you offer them a crayon, and that's how you do it. I felt like who's the chick that Gorillas in the Mist? What's her name? You don't know?
Diane Goodall.
There you go, Diane Goodall. That's how I felt. I felt like Diane Goodall communicating with the fucking gorillas.
Well, hey, when I joined the podcast back when we were sci-fi shenanigans, we are definitely shenanigans, that's for sure. We had Christopher Winder on, and poor Christopher, I had an organic. It was shaped like an egg, and I don't even know why it was shaped like an egg, but it was an organic crayon, and I posted it, and I went, "Look, I got a welcome present," and about half our listeners thought that we were getting rid of him.
Well, Chris was too nice for us.
And that's when Chris realized I was going to be mean.
I'm feeling Walt's judgment right now through the screen.
Walt does give us the judging eye a lot, Nick.
He never gives me the judging.
In 8 years, he's like, "Goddamn, Ranger, what are you doing?"
See, he's even like shaking his head. He's like, "No, I don't judge her."
We've told everyone, Walt, how you gave Nick and I the business when we did the drunk episode.
Oh my god, that thing was unlistenable.
No, it was awesome, and I refuse. Actually, it was unlistenable. You're right.
I was like, I can't hear anything. All I hear is, "No, you're done." Wait, no.
Like the Nick Cole episode, we
guys
He
were
was 2 hours
up.
late.
No, that's Nick's fault. I blame Nick. As much as I love Nick, I blame
He
Nick.
was 2 hours late,
He was 2 hours late, and
he was driving a car throughout it all.
Yeah. No, great.
And-
But what I
our-
love about this episode is the fact that you two got in trouble, and I hear nothing from
No,
Walt.
it's just everywhere.
Because you don't mess with Doc.
We decided in our infinite wisdom of whiskey brain that fuck it, we'll do it live was sort of what we said when Nick's like,
No,
I'm late.
No, that's what Nick said.
And we are in no condition to do this. And we're like, hey, we're getting ready to shut it down. Then fucking out of nowhere, Nick shows up. He's like, hey, I'm here. And we're like, fuck it, let's do it live. So that was 100% Nick's fault for being 2 hours late to his own podcast.
Absolutely. We're going to stick with that story.
Nick Cole, the writer of Galaxy's Edge.
Okay, not the other.
Yes.
He lived
The
up
other
north of us. I've given him multiple invites to
Okay,
a real fireside chat in Imperial Beach.
Those are really fun because you tell stories about the Rangerettes and the rose bushes, but
Who's wearing a Rangerette t-shirt right now?
I earned it. I'm your fucking wife. They don't have to sit next to your PTSD ass.
No, but
Okay.
That was the best thing I've ever heard. That's awesome.
Damn!
My shirt does say white.
there's no time zones. We were both on the West Coast. Me and Nick were on the same coast. There was no time zones. It was ridiculous.
I mean, at least we were cheerfully drunk that time. It didn't get weepy or anything weird. So
I'd give Nick more shit, but like me and him are like practically the same person. He's just a little bit older and was a chaplain. Assistant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wasn't a chaplain.
No, not no. I've read his books. Forgotten Ruin. The chaplain winner wrote that book.
so Walt, how did you get into handling dogs when you were in the Army?
He was friends with me.
It's true.
We're not talking about his girlfriends. We're talking about the mutts.
No, we're talking about Nick. Nick is a dog.
I am his favorite girlfriend, I'll have you know.
You're his favorite dog.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Or both.
Walt, save us from ourselves.
Whiskey hurts when it comes to the nose, baby. You can't say shit like that.
Well, in all fairness, you bought me the shirt, so
That's true.
a true Rangerette would have ordered it for herself. This was a surprise from him.
Ordered her Ranger panties too.
Welcome to the family. Now, Walt, about those dogs.
Rangerette.
Quick, hurry, save us.
I don't think I'm going to get a word
dogs,
in.
Walt, the dogs, please, Walt. The fuck.
It was actually pretty innocent. It was like, yeah, I used to work for this guy that
You are.
he was almost like a religious icon amongst the unit because he just had like all these crazy sayings and like we used to quote him all the time and call the quotes the Book of Joe, and he just walks up one day, me and the guy I worked with. He's like, "You like dogs?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've never had one." He goes, "You look like you like dogs," and then he walked away. And I'm like, "Is that bad?" And Dougie, my friend from New Jersey, he goes, "Oh yeah, bro, that's not good. Well, something's going. We're either going to end up in a fucking kennel or something shit." I'm like, I don't know what that was about. We went about our day. A couple days later, he comes up. He goes, "Hey, you're on a plane to Texas." I'm like, "What? Wait, what did we do?" He goes, "Oh, nothing. You're going for training." We're in the middle of a deployment. He's like, "Yeah, I know." And he just walked away. And that's how I got into it. So we showed up. We were the only 2 Army guys there. That was fun. Whole Air Force base.
Strange land.
Yep, it was weird.
Now this is when you were still a spicy boy, right?
That was back when I was with right before Revere had the ride, and we had the pointy hats.
Oh yeah. Well, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I was right there in the War of 1812 as far as hosts.
I was further back.
Yeah, you were the dad of it.
Yeah, Walt bend over. Yep, that was it. And he would do shit like that. He'd walk up and go, you know, he'd walk up to you and you'd just be like, you know, doing your own thing and whatever. And he would either say something very inspirational or something so freaking vague, you just knew it was gonna go bad. You know, especially when we would get new guys into the unit, and he would come up and go, "Hey, you have plans this weekend?" We'd be like, I hadn't really thought that far ahead. He goes, you probably don't have plans. And he'd walk away. And I'm like, oh God, we got a new guy coming in, you know, because what they like to do was,
no, you just volunteered for staff duty, bro.
No. We didn't do staff duty. But they had these dudes, you know, like would come in after getting done with selection, and they'd jump us on a helicopter, or if they had somebody like driving way out, and he'd have us going 80 clicks out, and we'd walk back, and the whole time we were walking back, he was like kind of using the walk as like how to teach land nav, how to, you know, teach basic soldiering skills, how to care for your equipment. So it was like this big, huge, you know, kind of like this is how you soldier experience, you know, except for the rest of us who had already been through it, you know, multiple times with multiple new guys, and we're just like, we don't want to walk anymore. It sucks, you know.
Because 80 clicks sucks.
Yep, 80 clicks, 50 miles up and down, you know, that hilly section of Georgia, and you're just like, everybody else is out drinking. This is stupid, you know. And it was, and you know, the rest of us were, you know,
okay,
just
so
kind
for
of do it.
Our dear listeners who don't really know what Walt's talking about, he's most likely, and I'm guessing, of course, but based on what he's described, it's the Tennessee Valley Divide, also known as the TVD. It sucks. No sane human being wants to walk that shit.
No.
Ever.
So, but yeah,
sucks too.
It was interesting. But yeah, Joe was like one of those like religious dudes that just like, you know, like you felt like you were in the presence of greatness, even though like he was about my height. He was built like a whiskey barrel. He was very soft spoken. You know, he was just one of those guys that was just like, you know, you felt like you hooked into something great when you worked with him, but like, God damn, if he wasn't like all sorts of crazy. But yeah, so and like the Book of Joe was was awesome because so like he would say,
I call it the Book of Jovelations.
No, I don't think he called it the Book of Jovelations, and I don't think we did either because he probably would have slapped us.
It should be the Book of Jovelations.
So like you know, like rule number 1 was don't get caught. Rule number 2 was if you get caught, kill everything in sight until you're not caught anymore. Rule number 3. Rule number 2 doesn't always work in big groups. Instead, convince them that you're dead so that you're not caught, and then show up 2 years later and knife them when they're waiting in line with for burritos. So.
You guys teach that to be a RIP instructor. I guarantee it.
What's that?
They teach that phrase, that whole set of rules to RIP instructors to teach.
Oh my God, he was hysterical. Like you know, he would just say shit that you would just start dying laughing about, and you know, it would be so like off the cuff and so deadpan, you know,
like British humor, almost.
Oh my God.
And with his great face, it was amazing how they did that.
And you know, you got the we were standing in line one day. We were outside the medical barracks long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. We're standing in front of the medical barracks to eat at their chow hall because they had the better chow hall. And he was like, just guys, they're gonna say some stupid shit. Just let them say stupid shit and don't even worry about it. So, we're standing out there and of course we're being loud. So this one medic sticks his head out and he's like, "Hey, we have sick people here. Calm down." And he slams the window. So Joe is like, "Look, don't react to it. Just hang out." Right. So he's sitting there and, he opens the window a few minutes later. He's like, "Hey, I said there's sick people here and we're trying to run sick call hours. So shut the fuck up." And he slams the window. So Joe, once again, is just, like, "Hey, it's fine." So the third time he opens the window, he says, "Hey, I got a song for you fuckers." He's like, "I don't go out with girls anymore. I live a life of danger. I sit in the woods and play with myself. Ooh, I'm a ranger." And he slams the window. So we're like, did that just fucking happen? And Joe looks at me and goes, 12 motivated, hard-charging killers in my midst. Not a one of you fucking moving. I was the first dude at that window. We scrambled in there. We pulled that dude out of the building, and then we duct taped him 6 feet up onto a flagpole.
Upside down?
No, right side up. But
I always throw in my Viking child with upside down.
Yeah. So
he will be taped to a flagpole upside down one day.
Do it. Yep. Teach him how it really goes.
I used to pick him up when he was little, when he was annoying, and ring him like a bell, like this, and go ding dong.
Not too hard, I hope.
How old is he now?
He's 9.
Okay, he's at the right age now to where you can sign him up for jiu-jitsu, and then you walk over to the instructor and you say, "Look, he's been giving me shit. I want you to suplex him."
I'm doing that with my stepson right now, actually.
Yeah, you know how many parents I have come up to me and go, "Excuse me, sensei," and it's like, "No, don't call me that. What's up? Listen, he's being a little shit at home. Can you, I don't know, adjust his attitude?" And I'm like, "So are you asking me to provide positive motivation to the young man who probably has an excess of energy and allow him to direct that energy in a positive direction? Or do you want me to fist fuck him?" He goes, I'm like, "Yeah, like right through the teeth. Like,
no.
You want me to..."
Well, I need you to take that fist, Walt, and I need you to shove it right up his asshole.
So that, the
parents... guys.
Yeah.
He said fist fuck. What did I say that was more offensive than fist fuck?
So the parents would look at you and be like, "Look, listen, just I don't know, is there something you can do with that?" And it's like, "Look, unleash Kraken Walt." It's like, "Look, ma'am, if you're not able to control your son at home, then we're controlling him here just fine. If you're not able to control him at home, that needs to start with you at home. We can't come to your house and raise your children."
California
She's like,
not permit me to suplex my child outside of an organized sports. Otherwise, I would throw him out the window.
Defenestration of Ranger Nick's offspring. All right.
Oh, I brought a Marine to the Knicks. Is that cool? Say hi, Jason.
Yeah, we love Marines.
Okay.
We do.
What do call it, air wing?
But Nick, do you have any crowns left?
No, I never have crayons here. We're fucking army here.
I thought you had them.
I had to order crayons from Walmart real quick. What am I doing with this?
So did you get any cool experiences in your army time there, Doc? We've all talked. Tell us a story.
Well, I mean, I have I have a almost kidnapped in Vegas story, and a driving on the CTA story in my POV.
I don't care. Whichever one you think's funnier. Entertain us.
I think they're both pretty fucking funny. One's short, one's longer.
We'll start with the short one. No, that could be taken wrong. Whatever, pick.
Okay, well, we're going to go with it because 20 bucks to 50K is going on. So I was thinking about it the other day. And the last time I went to Vegas, I almost got kidnapped. First of all,
talking like white slavery kidnapped, like friendly kidnapped.
This guy wanted to take me and make me his wife.
Was he a rich guy? Was he cute? Was he ugly? What are we talking?
I don't know. First of all, you have to understand I had like a yard of amaretto sour with me. And it's hanging around my neck. It's broad daylight. And I'm sitting there and I keep holding it to my side. And my friend is yelling fussing at me. Just let it hang. And I'm like, I can't walk with this between my legs. Don't know how guys do this.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
He'd have a nickel.
He'd have a nickel.
I'd have like 2 nickels.
He'd probably be naked.
Because oorah, air wing.
But so she's sitting there and she's going, oh my God, I'm going to kill you, Smalls. And I'm like, well, I haven't heard that one before. But I'm in a very happy place, being drunk in Vegas, chilling it with my friend. And this guy.
Where were you staying?
What?
In Vegas. Where were you staying?
I don't fucking remember. I didn't plan that part of the trip.
Good girl.
So, and I'm on there. It's an army trip because I'm with Boss. Better opportunities for single soldiers.
Oh my God, that program's old. You're dating yourself, Doc.
It just never went away.
It's not good for a sexual predator like Cisca. But it's like Tinder for Joe. It's worse than Tinder. It's plenty of fish for soldiers.
Plenty of fish. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the bottom of the barrel, right there.
So, be nice or you don't get any K-cups. So
I don't know how to respond to that. Have we ever gotten K-cup pics from K-cups?
No.
This is family-friendly show. Doc, back on story. How are you almost killed?
Okay, so
we love curating.
This guy, I'm walking down, and honestly, all I remember is that he was a foreign national from Africa and was dressed accordingly. And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, you're pretty. I want to take you home and marry you." And I'm sitting there and I'm drinking, and I'm just going, and I'm like, "No, thank you." And I keep going. Just walking down the strip. I've answered and I've told him no. Yeah, he had another idea. He comes back and he grabs me by the shoulders and turns me in the opposite direction I'd been going in and starts walking off with me. And I go, "Colleen, what's happening? Why am I going the wrong way?" So my friend Colleen, being the unabashed civilian that she is and wonderful, she turns around and starts hitting him and screaming at him that he's kidnapping an American soldier and he needed to fucking let me go because I said no. And he starts screaming for the cops. And there's 2 cops on the corner watching this. And I'm just sitting there kind of I'm holding my big yard of alcohol and just drinking out of my straw. Like, and I'm like, and he goes, and he starts calling for the cops, and she goes, "She's a fucking U.S. soldier, you idiot! You're trying to kidnap her." She said no. And like as soon as they heard the words "U.S. soldiers," one of the cops literally held up his hands and took 2 steps back. They were looked at the guy and they were like, "You're on your own." And so eventually he decided to leave me alone. But yeah, no, he was all game for like taking me away.
And he didn't do it.
We're glad you didn't get kidnapped, and whoever Facebook user is, we are sorry that you didn't get notified. We'll blame Canada. Why not? They're here.
Nope. We're blaming Nick Cole and Jason Asbach.
How did you say it?
Asbach?
That's it now. We'll ride with that. What do you think, Walt?
I said it wrong, didn't I? Asbach.
Onspot.
Onspach?
You guys
It's
are
Anspach.
That's what works.
No, that's not right. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. No, it's
just a
Asbach.
little bit.
The Marine agreed. Oh,
if you want to apologize, you can donate to Mission 22 through the GE website. They would greatly appreciate it.
I'm going to get so fired from this podcast right now.
It could be worse.
Yeah. I could not be a part of the podcast. I'm still getting fired.
Or just dock your pay. It's okay.
All right. So 45 and 45, 3 weeks extra duty. Call it good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
We'll just do some non-judicial punishment here. That's what the Marines call it. We just call it UCM in JP.
Well, I thought we called it corrective training.
I mean,
growing up, my mom just called it building my character.
My house with a
I
hitman.
got in trouble a lot.
we just
Brings
called it,
God
we should have
with
not
him. I
got
can't
caught.
do that.
That's your lesson for getting caught. That's what that is. It's teaching you not
All
to get
hate
caught
mail
next
can
time.
be sent to nickgarberdesigns@gmail.com.
No, you're not supposed to give real email addresses when you do that. Like, that's podcasting 101, bro.
I need the contact. Send me the hate mail.
He needs any contact that people are willing to give him.
Of course, the Marines right out the gate with send dick pics to my Gmail.
Yeah. Mostly just send
Hoorah and happy birthday, asshole.
veiny dick pics.
And spank. Oh, that's even better. Ask spank.
So, Walt, are you considering drinking for Seppuku?
It's definitely a possibility.
Walt's about to block me on Facebook, and that's it.
So Walt is, if you don't know, in addition to being like a sword stabby person and a karate whatever person, he also writes the words. So when are you going to write the Book of Joe for us?
Jubilations.
Why would I write it when Nick Cole is writing it right now?
Oh, well, why would you?
But it's not Walt Robilar's Book of Joe.
No, it's not. It's for Forgotten Ruin.
Okay, so we've had Forgotten Ruin. We've had what's the second book? Hit and
Fade.
Hit and Fade. I'm sorry, I want to say Hit and Run so bad because that's what I know, and I'm stupid. Dumb Ranger. Third book is titled.
Oh crap!
You just shared it with me. Not to put you on the spot. But
I always reference that book as Objective Lizard King because that's it's a Violence of Action. There it is.
Violence of Action. Okay, so he's going with the fundamentals of a raid. Got it. For you non-infantry types. I discussed you.
I was immediately
discussed me. I love you.
Like lives matter.
Doors had nothing to do with that.
He talked about the Lizard King.
Everybody talked about the Lizard King. So did fucking what's his name? He was on The Office. Something Spade. Not David Spade. You're an idiot.
Michael Spade?
No. Oh my God. He was in 16 Candles. Someone help me out.
I don't know that we are qualified to provide the kind of help you might need right now, Nick.
Conversations with a Marine, Part 1. Fuck him. Anyway.
I mean, they're Marines. They might like it.
I'm just old for this shit. Also, Facebook depressing me. It's Sparky, not Facebook user.
I like Sparky.
Sparky's good people.
Listeners and the best fans.
Hey, JR, look at the screen share below.
Okay.
I'm just playing all of you. So, okay.
Awesome. Let me hide this banner.
Lives do not fucking matter.
I didn't even put that one up, so this one I'm going to blame. There we go. Cisca's trying to get me in trouble putting all these banners up.
On leg day. Leg day is the only time where lives matter.
There you go.
Are you happy now? So, JR, now you got to do leg day. I know it's scary. I'll hold your hand. It'll be fine.
Will you whisper quietly and softly into his ear?
And I won't take a picture and send it to you at the amount of weight that I'm squatting. I don't want to put you down. I don't want you to make you feel less. Everything you do is good. Just keep doing it.
So do you want to let your mysterious guest, the Gyrene, speak at all?
You gonna talk?
Jason, speak.
What am I doing?
Speaking.
You want to share any of your no shit there I was in the air wing?
Yeah. Jason, give me a quick rundown of your time in service, what you've done, and the cool guy pics that you got with presidents.
I didn't really do anything. My time in service was from after I graduated high school in '96 till August 19th of 2001.
Before the war.
Yeah. So all my time was during peacetime.
And what important piece of aircraft did you work on?
Well, that was my time with the Marines, and then after I was up in New York with BP, I joined.
Nobody cares about BP shit. We're talking about military.
No, I joined the Army.
Oh, the Army, not the reserves, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but what important piece of machinery did you work on that is closely related to the President of the United States?
I was stationed with HMX 1, which is
he worked on Marine 1 because
Yeah.
he's taking fucking forever like a Marine does.
well, it's a presidential flight detachment. So everybody knows Air Force 1, the big
Yeah.
747.
Yeah, I know what Marine 1 is.
Okay. So yeah, it's
Yeah, because we're not all
I
fucking
usually-
retarded.
well, I usually tell
If you're not a Ringo fan, you can't not know what Marine 1 is.
well, I usually tell people,
And he reads too for a Marine. He reads at a
Let
third
him
grade
talk.
level.
I don't know how to read.
No, he lies.
I usually tell people, like, have you ever seen the movie Independence Day? And in Independence Day, there's a scene where
We're
the,
Marine.
the helicopter's pulling off
And he gets blown up.
and it
right?
gets blown up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's what I worked on.
Oh, that's awesome. So Jason's a good buddy of mine. Work with Department of Homeland Security. How do I not insult you? You're
Go ahead.
Marine,
Let it
former
come.
Marine. I know I'm not
Rain
say
down on
ex-Marine, right?
Rain down on
Does anybody know the proper terminology? Anybody in the comments section?
No,
Anybody
he
here
needs-
know?
We need his
No,
story.
I
his,
usually- I
his
usually
hold my
tell-
beer story.
No,
Oh yeah, we need to hold his beer.
no,
story.
I usually tell people I was active duty. Marine.
He's shy. But what presidents did you take pictures with? Yeah, because you've shown them to me and they're really cool.
The last time Bill Clinton went to Camp David, that was a detail that I pulled, and I got a picture with Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and the first family.
Oh.
But the best part of that trip was when we fed chocolate cookies to the dog, and then the dog was shitting its brains out for.
That was Hillary's dog?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's awesome. So you got a picture with Satan.
Yeah, we had
and you fed her hellhound who shit one.
So back then it was a 35 millimeter like Insta cameras.
Yeah, that you took to
and
the
yeah, so I was an avionics technician and I had to keep track of all the encryption. So I had a safe. And
did you scoop up some of the dog shit?
No, but I took that camera that somebody wasn't supposed to bring with them and I threw it in my safe after we took all those pictures.
Because nobody else could touch it.
Because nobody else could touch it.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
Okay, so we got Secret Squirrel on probation. That's awesome. That
and
like
then,
to be honest, that's probably the coolest Marine story I've ever heard.
And then by the time I left,
that is this whole beer story, please.
No, I don't have any hold my beer stories. And then by the time I left,
are you kidding? That is the hold my beer my story. I mean, God dang.
Bush was in office.
Oh, Big Daddy W.
When I had my grip and grin, when.
Okay, so for the listeners at home, a rip and grin is a photo shoot where you give a handshake, you grin, they rip the shot, and then they shove you off like the cannon fodder that you are.
No, he was a cool guy though. Bush was a cool guy. Clinton, not so much, and especially Hillary Clinton was.
It's not a political show. He's just
yeah.
But Bush was a cool cat, man. The guy in front of me, he stepped out and shook his hand, and like immediately, just instant jarhead is like, "Get the fuck out of the way," type shit going on. So my buddy immediately started walking out of the room, and Bush was like, "Hey, so what's going on? What do you got going on after the Marines?" And my buddy is like still trying to walk out the door.
I don't care what the commander-in-chief says. I'm trying to get out of the shot.
I'm just trying to
All right, so
here's where JR we're trying to wrangle in the interview. I'm gonna mute my camera.
Okay, guys. So
we've got to bring this puppy home because we've been at it for an hour and a half, and Walt has words to write and dogs to walk, and I believe he's probably owes like at least a dozen books tomorrow to the Galaxy's Edge. They work him like a rented mule. So as we bring this puppy home, again, Mission 22, do the thing, donate the money, help a good cause, and let me throw that back up there for you. And
definitely look into it because it helps veterans that are suffering from PTSD like me to make sure we stay in the fight. All right.
And Sandpoint wants you to know he's had morning tea with His Royal Highness Prince Philip in the officers' mess at St. James Palace just because he was in the hall and braced at the time, braced up with "Good morning, Your Grace." So those weird Aussies, they do weird things. But thanks for sharing that with us, Sam. But all right, so Nick, before you mute yourself, how can listeners find you if they want to support your art?
If you'd like to find me, you can find me at Nick Garber Art on Facebook, at Nick Garber Art on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to really super support me making comic books, you can go to www.abgcomics.net, and hopefully tonight didn't dissuade you from buying my books.
All right, as we bring this puppy home, Walt, the writer of the words and the stabber of the things, how can listeners find you?
hazardstudio.net.
Outstanding. All of this will be linked in the comment section. Doc, do you have any cool websites you want to send people to?
Why are you doing this to me all of a sudden?
Okay, you find Doc at the hub, if you know what I'm talking about, at DocCisca.com.
She is the...
and you can also find her on her spicy accountant page at DocCisca.
All right, and she
what
also
are you
is
talking about?
He's drunk. Ignore him. She's also the president of the Pernis Fantasy Fan Club. So you can find her there.
That is not a thing. That is not a thing.
Yes, it is.
It is not a thing.
I'm setting it up now. It's going to be a thing.
Fine, you do the website.
All right. She wants you to know pineapples do not belong on pizza. You can find me on my website, jrhandley.com. Easy peasy. I'm JR Handley everywhere. And you can find the show at, let me read where you can find us. Our website is anchor.fm/blasters-and-blades, anchor.fm/blasters-and-blades. We're on the Twitters at SF_fantasy_show, Sierra Foxtrot _fantasy_show. You can email us at blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. Again, blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. I promise we do answer those letters. You can find our shenanigans on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Blasters and Blades Podcast. Again, Blasters and Blades Podcast. You can support the show on a reoccurring basis on anchor.fm/blasters-and-blades or at buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to put in the comment section that it's for the podcast. I will keep my co-hosts Nick Garber and Doc Cisca duly intoxicated. They will drink until their liver surrenders.
Never surrender.
All right, bring it home, Doc, before Nick ruins it again.
Thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For Nick Garber, J.R. Handley, and all the other veterans out there, thank you for being hopefully wonderful citizens. I'm Cisca. This was the Blasters and Blades podcast. Join us next week where we'll actually talk fandom stuff, geek stuff. Don't forget to check out Mission 22, though, because that is actually super important because you never know who is needing that help. And so do it to support veteran. If you want to say thank you to a veteran, supporting veteran causes that help promote better veteran wellness, and especially mental wellness, is the best way to do that.
And you can always reach out to me through the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a listener and you are facing one of those problems, and you need somebody, feel free to reach out to us. We're vets. We do get it. So on behalf of everybody here, thank you. Have a wonderful Veterans Day.